Daniel Finds a Poem by Micah Archer. Daniel knows all the rocks and trees and animals in the park. On Monday morning, Daniel sees something new on the park gate. A sign reads, Poetry in the Park at 6 o'clock. What is poetry? Daniel says. There's a little sign. Look at the pretty park. He looks up in surprise when he hears spiders say, To me, poetry is when the morning dew glistens. Here's a spider. On Tuesday, Daniel climbs a tree, an old oak tree. He sees Squirrel. Squirrel, do you know what poetry is? Poetry is when crisp leaves crunch, Squirrel tells him. I do like the sound of crunching leaves. It's very fun. On Wednesday, Daniel calls into Chipmunk's hole. Chipmunk, can you tell me what poetry is? Poetry. Poetry is a home with many windows and an old stone wall. On Thursday, Daniel makes a boat with a leaf for a sail and watches the wind carry it across the pond. He calls quietly to Frog, Excuse me, Mr. Frog, what is poetry? Poetry, says Frog, is a cool pool to dive into. On Friday, Daniel parts the cattails to find Turtle. Hello, Turtle. I have a question. Do you know what poetry is? I think poetry is sun-warmed sand, said Turtle. On Saturday afternoon, Daniel finds a cricket in the shade of the slide. When the shadows are long, Cricket fills the air with music. Is this poetry to you, Cricket? Singing at twilight when the day is done? Indeed it is, Daniel. That night, moonlight fills Daniel's room. He hears a who. Leaning from the window, he calls to Owl. Owl, what is poetry? Oh, poetry. Poetry is a bright stars in the branches, moonlight on the grass, and silent wings to take me wherever I go. Good night, dear Daniel, she whispers and flies off into the night. On Sunday, the sun wakes up Daniel. He is happy when he remembers it's Sunday. Today is poetry in the park, says Daniel, and I have a poem. Morning dew glistens, crisp leaves crunch. There's a home with many windows in the old stone wall. Cool blue pools to dive in, sun-warm sand to lie in, singing at twilight when the day is done. Bright stars in the branches, moonlight on the grass, and silent wings to take me wherever I go. It's a very good little poem. On the way home, Daniel stops to watch the sunset sky reflecting in the pond. That looks like poetry to me. To me too, said Dragonfly. The end.